Hi, Jeff Ray here, President CEO, South Bend Regional Chamber, continuing candidate interviews today. I'm sitting down with Desmont Upchurch. Desmont is a candidate for St. Joseph County Auditor. Desmont, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're doing these interviews. We're hoping to get to know candidates a little bit better. If people haven't had a chance to meet you, tell us a little bit more about who Desmont Upchurch is.
Okay, thank you. Desmont Upchurch. I was born in Durham, North Carolina, and then end up going to high school, end up coming to the United States Army. From the United States Army, I did 20 years United States Army, retired, and this was my last duty station. So part of those duty stations were Fort Hood, and then Schofield Barracks. So at Fort Hood, I did 2 tours to Iraq, and then I tried to get out of going to Iraq. So I said, well, the government is not going to pay to send you from Hawaii to Iraq. So in all my infinite wisdom, I selected to go 6 more years and went to Hawaii. And as soon as I landed in Hawaii, they were like, "Gear your stuff up, you're going to Iraq." So we did that. Then did 15 months in Iraq in Hawaii with Hawaii. Came back and signed up to be an Army recruiter. So from there, went to Sacramento, California, which took me to Norfolk, Virginia, where I met my wife. And from Norfolk, Virginia, they sent us to South Bend, Indiana. And we got here in September. In September, this was 7 years ago. We got here in September. We moved to Mishawaka. The weather was nice, and we said, this is where we wanted to raise our family. And then winter hit, and we wavered. However, we got through winter, and I remember the first snow, and was calling home to North Carolina to say, they named the snow. I never heard of lake effect. They are naming it. So, but we had a great time, and we said we wanted to raise our family here. So we ended up buying a house in South Bend, and we made South Bend home. And so that is my story.
Great. Desmont, thanks for sharing your story, and thanks especially for your service to our country. We're all really grateful for that. Appreciate that. So.
Thank you for the support. Yes.
So Desmont, you found a new home. You're raising a family here, and you decide you're going to seek public office. Talk to us a little bit about what inspired you to seek an elected office, in particular the St. Joseph County Auditor's Office.
Okay, so once we moved to South Bend, we wanted to get really involved in our community. We were trying to find how does that look, and we found issues in a lot of different places. And so the opportunity first came to run for school board, and ran for school board, but we had only lived here 3 years. We felt like we did great on the campaign. We got 4,000 votes. And for somebody who is unknown, we thought that was amazing. So that was a victory. But we constantly wanted to be involved, and we looked at the auditor's position to find how can I bring value to the auditor's office. And what we found out is the auditor's office is just like the Army, and is a leadership role. And so with the leadership that the Army taught me about managing troops and about managing people, we felt like we can come into the auditor's office and make it a more conducive environment, so that we can get work done at less cost.
Great. Desmont, as folks are paying attention to elections, some of the bigger races get a lot more attention. It's the local ones probably that have the most impact on our businesses and our people that live here. Folks may not know a lot about auditor, what it is, what it does, why it's even important, or why it matters to them. Talk to us a little bit about the auditor office, the function, why it's important to us, and why we should pay attention to this race.
So the auditor's office is the checks and balances for the county. So the money that is brought in, we would audit all dollars brought in to make sure it's accurate, and make sure all bills are paid, and make sure we're not overpaying or people are misusing their office to steal money from taxpayers. So being in the military, standing guard for our freedoms, I feel like standing guard for our tax dollars so that if we see misuse, that we will raise the red flag. And that's what the auditor is supposed to do. We're supposed to keep everyone um, honest and doing their job and not misusing taxpayers' dollars. I felt like I can be that candidate um, to enforce the right actions that we want, so we can save taxpayers' dollars. As you see, taxes are going up, your assessments are going up. That's more money coming out of your pocket. So if more money is coming out your pocket, you should be able to see something happening within the county to say our dollars are going to that, not seeing and not seeing raises for county officials, yet nothing is being produced on ground levels.
Yeah, so no, Desmond, appreciate the perspective there, because so obviously an important financial role within the county, which has a pretty significant budget and employs a lot of people here. So thank you for helping us understand that a little bit. So you touched briefly, but give a chance maybe to talk a little bit more about it. Just priorities. So you know, you're in the midst of your campaign. You're talking to people on the street. You're hoping to get elected. You know, come November. Should Desmont get elected to the auditor position, what are your priorities? What are the things that are most important to you as you take that office?
So the two most important things I believe are, one, protecting our tax dollars. I really hate misuse. I really hate when people double dip, when the taxpayers are paying for your job, yet you have a full-time job somewhere else, and nobody is raising the red flag to say, listen, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that. Whether the laws doesn't, you shouldn't be able to do that with our tax dollars. And two, bring awareness to our community of how valuable the auditor's office is to the big scheme of things. A lot of times you see commissioners, you see county council, but yet you don't hear about these back offices. And those are the ones that really, your tax dollars are really can be affected.
Right. So Desmond, as you're talking to folks in the community and or you're thinking about, you know, kind of the 4 years ahead and potentially serving this, any challenges, any things on the horizon that we should all have be thinking about or have on our radar? I know, you know, there's signs of the economy slowing and obviously that, you know, impacts collections and stuff like that. So what's on your radar as in terms of challenges ahead that we should be thinking about?
Challenges ahead, I believe, would be we need to start conserving money for the county, because I think there's going to be tough times ahead where we're going to have to make tough decisions. And if we're reckless with money now, it's going to cost us in the future. So looking ahead, I would say we need to try to figure out how to pull back some things while times were good. We got a lot of grants in, we got a lot of money in. We don't need to try to blow through that money, but we do need a safety net for, I think, the times that are coming.
Okay. Desmond, one of the you know important functions I think related to the auditor is working with all of the departments in the county. You know, touch a little bit on and on your work, your experience, for example, working with a broad group with lots of different opinions, and how you bring folks together and move them in a common direction.
Well, I believe that I can work with anybody, no matter Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, um, as long as we all see that the citizen means that we're here to represent the citizen, right? Um, I would have a challenge working with anybody who's looking to enrich themselves, because we are here for the citizens. That's what our job is. That's what they're hiring us for or voting for us for. And if we can't do that, then we probably won't see eye to eye.
Right. Desmond, as we're wrapping up here, talk a little bit about so our voters are going to head to the ballot box here in the next few days or weeks and begin casting votes for St. Joseph County Auditor. Tell them why they should select Desmont Upchurch as the next St. Joseph County Auditor.
Thank you. I believe you should vote for Desmont Upchurch because Desmont Upchurch will protect your tax dollars, will stand guard to make sure there's no misuse, the same as I stood guard to make sure our freedoms were protected for 20 years. And I want to do that for St. Joe County as the auditor.
Great. He's Desmont Upchurch. He's a dad and a servant and a candidate for St. Joseph County Auditor. Desmont, thanks for spending some time today to help us get to know you, and best of luck over as the campaign wraps up for the next few weeks.
Thank you.